Now we've made our first document, there's a couple of things that you need to maybe think about changing. First of all, if you look at the interface, here is your toolkit. Along here is your toolkit. If you click on this arrow here, it makes it into a 2-column toolkit. That is preferable than this 1 column. This 1 column is to save lots of space, and what it does do that, save space on the interface, it actually makes these bottom bits that are quite important quite small and difficult to select. So if you click here, it will then go into the 2 column and it makes this area of the toolkit a lot larger. The next thing I want you to do is go to Edit, go to Spelling, and click and make sure that dynamic spelling is turned on. Okay, so that then makes it very similar to Word in that you'll get a red line if you make any spelling mistakes. Okay, click on the T. Let's click on the T. Now up here, this area of the interface is contextually aware. That means that if you click on the Move tool, up here it will change for all the different parameters to do with the Move tool. But if you click onto the text, that does have a dramatic change, and these are all the parameters and functions that you can change for the text. There's also another little icon here. If I click onto that, again, that is the paragraph formatting controls, and they again will change for all the different parameters that you can change with when you're working with paragraphs. So click back onto the A symbol, and that's the text symbol, and that again shows you all the parameters that you can change. Okay, so we're now clicked on to the T tool. Just drag and pull, and we're going to make a text box. Now let's type in, we're going to make a title page first of all, so let's type in portraits. Okay, it's portrait project. I might need to change my P to a capital P. Okay, so there you go, I've written it and it's very, very small. I'm now going to click away and I'm now going to select it again, click onto the T, and now I'm going to make it much larger. In fact, I can type in here any number. So if we make it 100 points, if we make it 150 points in size, you'll see that it's getting much larger. Now if I make it really large, like 200 pixels, 200 points, you'll see that it's now so big it can't fit in the text box. And down here, if I zoom in down here, you'll see there's a little plus sign, and that means that text is beyond the flow and the size of the text box. So if I drag the text box down, you'll see that it's actually now on 2 lines. So if I drag it up, you'll see the plus sign comes again to say that there is text outside the text box. Okay, so back to the T, and I'm going to probably make that 150. On here, you can choose the text character, okay, the font. So I'm going to choose Impact. You can have a look down at all the different fonts there are, or you can just type in if you know the name of the font that you want. Okay, so I am now over here. This area has got a few controls. Now the great thing about working and using Adobe software is a lot of the interface is quite similar. So if you learn one, you're well on the way to learning all the others. So I'm now going to click on the all caps to put it in all caps. It's a bit big, put my cursor in here, hit return and do a line break. And that was using the return key on the keyboard. A quick way to duplicate stuff, I can go to edit, copy, edit, paste, and I'll get another text box. I'm going to move down here, and here I'm going to write my name. And this is going to be my title page. Now, portrait projects is slightly larger because that is the main header, and I'm going to now make my name a bit smaller. So let's make it 100 and drag that down here. Good way for navigating around your page is to use this hand. Click that hand and you can move up and down. An even better way of doing that is just by clicking and holding the space bar. If you click and hold the space bar, you can click and drag the page around. Now this text box is quite large, so I'm going to drag it in so it fits around my name and drag it down there. I'm going to use the space bar now to just center it so everyone can see what I'm doing. Now black text is a bit harsh, so I'm going to click onto the T. I'm going to select my portrait projects. I'm going to select the T, and the first thing I want to do is change the color of the text. Now if I was just going to add a color now, you will see that I have in fact changed the color of the text box. Let me click on the text box again, go down to here, and this symbol here, which is a diagonal red line, that means none. Okay, but I'm now going to select the text box again, and this time I'm going to click on the T. This now allows me to change the color. I can change the color from here, or if I want to have more of a selection, I can change the color from here. Now if I double click this, the color picker comes up and I can choose any color that I want. Any color. Double click it, any color that I want. I'm going to do the same to my name. So remember, click the T, double click, and you can change the color to whatever color you want. Now if you've got a particular color and you really like it, you'd probably want to add that to the swatches. So wherever that color is, do a right hand mouse click, add to swatches, add to swatches, and then it will be joined here. So if I want to click onto this one and make it exactly the same color, make sure I'm on the T, exactly the same color, it will be down here. So these two now are exactly the same color. Okay, so now I'd like to add a color background. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool, which is here. I'm going to double click the swatch color, choose my swatch, so I can make it any color that I want, click OK, pull and drag to make the background of the page. And the first thing you see is I can no longer see my text. If I click on the layers palette, which is here, I'm just going to drag it out. There's the layers palette. If you can't see that, go to Window Layers, Window Layers. There's even a shortcut for F7. But on this layers palette, you can see I'm on layer 1, and if I have a drop down, if I click on the drop down, you'll see I've got my rectangle and I can just pull it to the bottom. Okay, so this rectangle, I can also click on it and go to Object, Transform, or Arrange, and send to the back. That's another way of doing the same thing. File, save. Don't forget to continually save your work.